We are now recording. So I want to thank everyone for being with us this evening. My name is Brandon Toms. I am the Director of Programs and Operations with Rogue Valley Habitat for Humanity. We are here because it is time again for us to accept applications and to seek families to join us as partners as we build and offer homeownership to those in need. I'm going to spend this evening telling you a little bit about Habitat and how our program works, and then dive into the application that you'll be completing in order to be considered for our program. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and we will get the process started. So as you can see, welcome to our orientation. Couple of housekeeping items. Your cameras will remain off during the presentation. If you do have questions, feel free to type them at any time. We'll address them at the end of the program, but you can utilize the chat feature on the bottom of the screen in front of you to share your question. Please keep personal situations confidential. We don't need anybody to have to share their dirty laundry here. I am available here in the office every day of the week during the weekdays and would be happy to connect with you on a one-off in order to answer questions about your private situation. But if you have some general or program questions, we definitely love to get them answered for you tonight. It's also important to remember that no question is a dumb question, and someone else might also be thinking the same thing. So feel free to share that with us. If for any reason you're having a challenge with accessing the chat feature, I believe there should also be a raised hand feature at the bottom of your screen. So we may then be able to allow you to come on and audibly ask your question then as well. We'll work through this technology together, but if you can, please, throughout the presentation, utilize the chat feature and we'll come back to those and answer your questions at the end. So a little bit about what is Rogue Valley Habitat for Humanity. Our mission statement is we're a nonprofit organization working in collaboration with those in need and our community to build or renovate simple, decent, affordable homes. We were founded in Christian principles and we welcome people of all faiths and beliefs. We will work together to eliminate substandard living conditions. Local Habitat for Humanity was founded in 1987, the Rogue Valley Habitat for Humanity affiliate. We've built and completed 72. I slipped and put 73 in there. We are in the process of completing 73 now, serving just over 400 individuals, most over half of whom have been children. Previously, we've been able to build in Medford, Ashland, Central Point, White City, Rogue River, and Eagle Point. We offer many different programs that support our builds, like Building on Faith with the support of many different local churches, Habitat for Heroes, many local organizations that support specific veteran-based projects, whether it be home builds or repairs. Team builders, we have a significant corporate support from businesses within the community that help sponsor these builds and come out and swing hammers with us. We also offer a pretty robust women's build program that happens in March and April of each year when we're not dealing with COVID-19, where we empower women with construction skills and teach them through partnerships with Lowe's Home Improvement, as well as get them on the job site and in the folds of our work we do to build. Just sharing that we are Habitat for Humanity is also a national nonprofit association. Each affiliate throughout the United States, there's hundreds of them, kind of work independently with the same goal of providing affordable housing. Together, we make a mighty group. Within the past, we were a top 10 builder in the country. And because of the way that we finance these builds and sell them to the partner families, we've also been a top 10 lender based on volume. So um, there's many different affiliates throughout the United States working on the same goal as us of providing affordable home ownership. And together we make quite an impact. There are sometimes many misconceptions about what Habitat for Humanity is or what we do. And it's important that we get those answered and out of the way. We do not give away homes. This isn't the homeowner lottery, but it's a wonderful opportunity, almost once in a lifetime opportunity for many. We sell these homes to our partner families via an affordable mortgage that they pay every month. They pay their taxes, they pay their property insurance. Some people pay association fees, but they do have a very affordable monthly mortgage payment. And then as that mortgage payment is paid back to us, we carry the notes on many, if not all of our mortgages. We take those funds as they come back in monthly payments and use those to build again. So it's this nice cycle of continually offering affordable home ownership to local families in need. So the families that entered the program before you throughout our 30 years and 73 homes, as they make their mortgage payment, they afford new families the opportunity of joining the program and help us fund to build homes. Throughout this specific 30-day application window is a little bit different. Normally, we don't share individuals in advance where we're building or what we're building, but this is a kind of a special and unique opportunity. We are selecting for 2 projects. We're looking for 3 families in total. On those 2 sites, we'll be building a total of 3 houses. So we are also looking for families that were displaced or impacted by the Almeda event. So not only are we building somewhere that a residence or a dwelling was lost, but we're also looking to bring back to that area a family or household that was impacted or displaced due to the event. This is not an overnight process. It's the application process. We'll get to a timeline in the end. Let me get my screen back up here again. I apologize. It's not an overnight process. It takes about 30 to 90 days to get through the application process. Once that's been completed, then the real fun begins. Then we start building. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. But it's not an immediate answer to someone's homelessness needs. It's not an immediate opportunity for shelter. It's a process of you partnering with us and helping us to build a new forever home. We don't build elaborate or custom homes. We build simple, decent, affordable homes. Families have an opportunity of providing their information or their input with certain opportunities or to specialize the build, like picking and choosing paint colors, various options we have available as we begin the build process. But we build very nice, decent homes. We also don't discriminate based on family size, based on race, or based on religion. Everyone is welcome. everyone, as long as they're able to fit into the guidelines that we have set forth in order to make things fair and equitable. They're welcome to apply. We welcome everyone to apply. This was a question from some that we received beforehand and wanted to just deal with from the onset of today's program, is that one applicant must legally reside in the United States. So one applicant must have residency or citizenship within the United States. Now we'll move on to program criteria since my slide is already there. So our program criteria is broken into kind of like a three-legged stool, with each one being just as important as another. The first is the ability to pay. I shared with you earlier that we don't give away homes. We sell them based on an affordable monthly mortgage. So you must have an ability to pay. And the monthly mortgage payment is based on a 30-year, zero interest equivalent mortgage. The monthly payments are set at the cost of construction. So we sell it to you for the cost of construction. That's what's paid back. And your payments will not be higher than 30% of your gross monthly income. That's the national accepted it's a national accepted average for what's considered affordable through HUD. So that 30% mark is how we determine and target the mortgage payments for our partner family. Gross monthly household income must be between a minimum and maximum based on the number of your people in your household. Excuse me. When we get to the application itself, I'll show you where this specific criteria is listed based on the amount of individuals within your household. Excuse me. Because we are selling you an asset, that item then becomes something of value that you own. So in order to set you up with some success, we do have a couple of credit requirements that are required in the beginning to be accepted into our program. The first is that all unpaid collections, the total of them must be under $1,000. And we'll need to figure out a way for you to be able to save and get those paid off before we finish building your home. We can also have no unpaid or outstanding liens or judgments. Let's say maybe you had a car repossession or something of that matter. That does need to be rectified before we can sell you the home. And the reason why is because that asset can then be attached by those creditors that you have an outstanding balance with. Then you get into situations where they can try to foreclose, which doesn't set you up for success from the beginning. So we really need those items to be either under that manageable threshold or already taken care of before we can accept you into the program. We also do have no bankruptcy within the last 2 years. I'll say it now, and I'll also say it again throughout the presentation. I'm happy to meet with you one-off. If there's questions about anything in our program, this is usually where the questions come up. I'm happy to discuss that with you privately about your own specific situation. But what I'll tell you is it's a rather simple application process, and when in doubt, just apply. Sometimes you may not be calculating something correct. Sometimes you may not have checked your credit report in a while. You might not be sure exactly what's on there. Just go ahead and put in the effort to apply so that we can work with you on it when we both know the whole picture and what exactly we can and can't do. The second leg of the stool for our program criteria is a need for housing. Normally, that's proving that you're living in a substandard living situation. That's proving that you're overburdened by the amount of rent, which is so many individuals living at low to moderate income levels. But because our criteria is tied to the Almeda fire incident from September 2020, most individuals will automatically be able to display a need for housing because they were impacted and displaced by that event. Um, you must be able to provide proof of that. We must have verifiable proof of your living situation on September 8th and the impact that the Almeda event had on your housing. And the final and most exciting leg of that stool for criteria is a willingness to partner. Obviously, arguably the most important aspect of the selection criteria is to be fully involved and engaged in our program. You must be ready and able to invest 500 hours of sweat equity on construction of your home. Um, that's 200 hours for each adult homeowner. And then the balance of the 500 hours is utilized by you finding other volunteers to support your home build, whether it be your coworkers, your church family, your friends and family, really to gain support for your new opportunity and for them to help you along the way. So that's how you get the sweat equity requirement met. Also being a face for the Habitat program, that we can share your story and other people can be excited along with you as you make this journey to home ownership. The Almeda event is a pretty deep and meaningful thing close to many people's hearts. And many people have given to our opportunity and our ability to offer this build. So there's a lot of people that are anxious to see and share and celebrate with the individuals that are chosen for this opportunity. We'll also ask that those selected partner families attend community events and fundraisers. I'm sure we'll find a way to do a COVID friendly wall raising for this build um, and other fun events in order to share and garner more community support throughout the process. We also have a pretty robust homeowner education program. Um, for many people, home ownership is a different way of living than relying on a landlord who's responsible for the care and maintenance of a home. And we want to set each of our partner families up for incredible success. So we teach them classes like home maintenance, being a good neighbor, homeowners insurance. We have an entire class about homeowners insurance, budgeting. It's a pretty rigorous class in order to again set our partner families up for success. Many people ask how it all works. I've already mentioned before the incredible outpouring of support from the community. The community knows that Habitat is excited to be here to build back. They know that the event caused us to lose a significant amount of affordable housing inventory, and they're excited and engaged in wanting to help. So that's where you see community partners, individuals that come forward that want to give to the process and help us build or provide donations of items that we can use to build and make these homes come to life. And then you all come in, the partner family. The partner family comes in, we're engaged to provide this opportunity for you, excited for the awesome things that are going to come your way with this new safe and affordable home. And then the third magic piece is volunteer partners. And those volunteer partners support our organization in many different ways, whether it be helping us on the job site, swinging hammers, whether it be supporting myself or any of our the other programs through committee work, volunteering in the Restore. Volunteers are the key to making this entire cycle work cohesively. So all those three working together are how we make the magic happen. Sorry for my raspy voice. Now I want to jump over to the application. So I am going to stop sharing this PowerPoint. And I'm going to start sharing our website. So this is our website, roguevalleyhabitat.org. This is where you can find the application. Most of you clicked here in order to register for our program, for our orientation. And this has all been changed now, and this is where you can go to print the application itself. It'll look a little bit different when you're logged in from your phone if you're using a mobile device. But when you click for more info, there's a Spanish and an English button to click. Here you'll find all the information. Just again, reiterating that we're building for projects in Phoenix and Talent for our homeownership program, that this opportunity is restricted to families that were impacted and displaced by the fire, that you must not have owned a property within the last 3 years. And for the purpose of this opportunity, we do not consider manufactured homes renting a space to be considered real property. You would be able to qualify in that situation, and we welcome you to apply. Below, you'll find qualification guides that go over that three-legged stool that I talked about earlier, the willingness to partner, the ability to pay, and a need for housing. Those are available in both English and Spanish. Here is how you can download and print the application. Again, they're available in both English and Spanish. And here's my contact information should you have questions or need assistance. We also know that not everyone has the ability to print from home. So these items will be available in our office already printed for you to come and pick up. This is the actual application. Again, from here from the website, you can download and print this. It's a special opportunity for units in Talent and Phoenix. I spoke earlier about a minimum and a maximum gross annual household income based on the size of your household. As you can see here, on a 3-person household, the minimum to qualify gross annual household income is $26,520. So that's what someone made throughout an entire year before taxes. The maximum gross annual household income for a household of 3 people is $43,050. And as you can see, as the size of the household goes up, so do the minimum and maximum income limits based on household size. Again, at least one applicant must legally reside in the United States. That can be as a permanent resident or citizen. I just touched on the fact that manufactured homes in a park where the space was rented are able to apply for this homeownership opportunity. It's important that you completely fill out the application, complete and to the best of your knowledge and ability. You may use extra sheets of paper if necessary. It's also important that you do your best to make copies of your own documents. We don't have the ability to make copies nor have a public copy machine here. If you are running into that as a barrier, please contact me and we'll figure out a solution. We do have to retain these applications for many years after the decisions have been made. In order for us to retain that information, we can't hold on to your originals. So we definitely want to make sure we're receiving photocopies. And the items that we need copies of are found below. We need a tax return for the last 2 years for each applicant. If you file joint, we just need the one tax return. If for some reason you lost these tax returns in the fire, I'm also happy to assist you with the number to contact the IRS to request a transcript. It is important that if you know you don't have access to these items, that you work on getting them quickly. It is upcoming on tax season, May 15th this year, it was extended to. So the IRS is pretty busy. It's definitely important to get started quickly if you do not have this information available. We also need your pay stubs. If you're a W-2 wage earner and employed, we do need your pay stubs for the last 3 months for each applicant. If you're receiving Social Security, a pension, a retirement, we do need an award letter. Again, if that's something you've lost in the fire, I'm happy to help you direct you to how to contact the correct individuals to get that award letter sent to you. We also do need bank statements for the last 2 months. Online printouts of ledgers are not acceptable. We do need an actual copy of your statement, which shows your name and your account number. We need a copy of your valid driver's license or identification card. And then lastly, we need proof of your address on the day of the event. On September 8th, 2020, where were you living and can you provide proof? If you're concerned about your proof, that it's not listed here specifically, again, feel free to contact me and we can work together on making sure that that's going to be acceptable. You'll see again, please do not submit originals with this application. Documentation will not be returned. Completed applications, they are due back to us by May 28th of this year at 5 p.m. Because of some federal regulations, we're only allowed to keep this opportunity open for 30 days. That's where the deadline comes in. You can mail your completed application back to us at this post office box, or you can drop it off to us here at this office. And this is our address for our administrative office. I ask that you don't turn them into the restore. They don't have the secured facilities to keep your information safe and private. So please make sure you turn it into our administrative office during hours of operation. If you have a challenge getting it to us during hours of operation, again, please reach out and let's come up with a solution for you. My contact phone number, again, is listed here on the back of the first page of the application. The next page of the application is the authorization and release. This is a release of information that allows us to verify everything you shared in your application. It allows us to pull a credit report to make sure you can fall within the ability to pay. It allows us to verify employment. It allows us to verify the information you provided from your bank statements. It allows us to contact a landlord and again, verify any information provided in your application. If there's one applicant, they just need to complete the top portion. If there is a co-applicant, they do need to sign here as well. A quick heads up, many people do forget to sign this document because there's also another place to sign your application at the end. So please do remember that this authorization and release does require a signature from you and a co-applicant if one exists. On to the traditional page one of the application. We are a fair housing organization and an equal housing opportunity. Again, I said we don't discriminate based on many and all of the protected classes, as you can see listed here at the top. Please complete this to the best of your best ability. Fill it out completely and accurately. All information you include on this will be kept confidential. And again, if you need more space to complete information, please attach a separate sheet of paper. At the top, we're going to ask for the applicant's information: your name, your social security number, date of birth, age, driver's license, cell phone, work phone if necessary. We'll also ask if you're comfortable speaking and reading in English, just so we know if we need to ask you to have interpretation before we schedule an appointment or an interview. We'll ask your marital status. We'll also ask your residency status. Are you employed? Are you on disability? Or do you have a disability? And are you a student? Asking about disability, you'll see another opportunity later in the application. It's really so we know how we might need to accommodate you in this build and to make sure that it's something that is a good fit for you. Just to give an example, we had an individual who her child had a seizure disorder, and she absolutely, under no situation, felt safe to have a 2-story home. Well, we knew we were building a 2-story home. So we were able to identify in the beginning that this opportunity wasn't a good fit for them and convey that information to the family. If there's a co-applicant, their information is provided here. This is your mailing address. For many individuals, especially those impacted by the fire, they had chosen to get a private mailbox or a post office box. So please use this as, make sure you complete your mailing address. We will send you correspondence in regards to your application. We will ask you, we will send you completion letters or incompletion letters to whatever address you provide here. The best way to contact you, providing us your home phone number and your email address. This is also a good time to remind you to print legibly. It can be a challenge backtracking to try to figure out how to reach applicants if we can't read what's been provided. Maybe if you know your handwriting is a little bit challenging to read or decipher, get somebody to help you complete this application in order to avoid any contact issues. We also have given you a space to let us know if you need translation and who you identified as someone that you trust that can facilitate the translator relationship throughout your time in the program. For some people, it's an older child. For others, it's a community friend, church member, or relative. So just let us know the individual that you're authorizing for us to use when communicating about your situation for translation. Next, in 1F, we're asking you to list other members of your household. Who else do you live with? Your son. I need a name, relationship, their gender, their age, and their date of birth. We ask for gender because we like to make sure that there's adequate number of bedrooms based on the gender makeup of your children, and make sure that the ages we're not putting a 17-year-old daughter in with a 2-year-old toddler. So We ask that information so we can make sure that our project will accommodate the needs and size and makeup of your family. Also, let us know if this person is employed, if they're a student, or if they're disabled. Then tell us about your current housing situation. Where do you currently physically reside? How long have you been there? Do you own or rent? What's your rent? And is it currently subsidized? This is going to ask you if your co-applicant or any other household members currently live at a different address. We know that there are some fire survivor families that have had to split up based on the size requirements of where they were able to find shelter. So just let us know. Again, if there's a story behind you marking yes, please feel free to add that additional piece of paper and explain the situation. You'll see in 2B, housing information continued. We'll ask for your previous residence, and then we'll ask how long you lived there, if it was a landlord, and if you owned or rented. And again, this will be your address that you were displaced from or lost during the fire. If you're currently receiving housing assistance, tell us that here. What program are you with? What do they currently subsidize? Do they also have you in a homeowner readiness program? Tell us about your housing situation here. Again, some information about utilities. Maybe you're living somewhere that's not adequately insulated, or it's not designed for people to house people long term or at all. And maybe that's causing the electric bill to be $500 a month because you have to consistently run the heater. Let us know that here so we have an accurate picture of your living situation. Do you live in a townhouse, a duplex, apartment? Do you share a house? For individuals right now, are you currently living in an RV or travel trailer? Feel free to write that in if you don't see it listed there. How many bedrooms do you have where you reside now? What other rooms can be found in your home? If there's one place where everyone typically attaches a second sheet of paper or an additional sheet of paper, it's 2F. Let us know about your current housing situation. Let us know why it's not working for you, why it's temporary. Feel free to let us know the impact the Almeda event had on your family. Let us know what this new home will mean to you. This is the opportunity for you to share with the committee of individuals and community members that will review these applications why you're the best fit for this opportunity. In section 3, we'll ask for you to provide your employment information. There's a section for applicant and co-applicant, and we're asking for the last 2 years. This starts at 3A with your most current employer, the name of your employer, the job title, the address, the supervisor's name and phone number. Also, your gross monthly income, your monthly income before taxes, your hire date, and if you're still working there, check you're still working there. If you're not currently employed, and I would start under number 2, where it shows you your last employer and it gives you an opportunity for an end date. Again, we look for 2 years. If there's a gap in employment of more than 1 month, just let us know. We live in strange times, whether it be the Almeda incident or COVID-19. Just help us paint a full picture of any gaps in an employment history. You'll see the same for a co-applicant. If you don't have a co-applicant, obviously this part will remain blank. And again, gaps in employment for the co-applicant. This is important. This is the income piece that we verify. Your income is here for the monthly gross income for the applicant and the co-applicant. The applicant goes here, and then where does this money come from? Is it employment? Is it disability? Is it social security? Is it child support or other? The total monthly income goes here, gross income before taxes. The co-applicant, if there is one, goes here. It's very important that all the income provided here, we must have received documentation. On the very first page, you'll see where it asks for award letters or pay stubs. Please make sure you remember to attach them to your application. At the before, when you saw the opportunity in place for you to list other household members, if any of those other household members that are not applicants have an income, let us know what their income is. Maybe grandma lives with you. Relationship, she's my elderly mother. Her source of income is Social Security. Her gross monthly income amount is $875. Again, remember, we do need verification. You will need to provide us an award letter, even for non-applicant income in your household. These are some questions that establish your ability to qualify for our program. It's a simple yes or no. Do you have any debt because of a court decision? Are you involved in a lawsuit? Do you own property somewhere? Are you currently involved in the divorce process? Are you paying child support? Are you a veteran? Have you lived in Jackson County for less than 12 months? If you answered yes to any of those questions, please explain on a separate sheet of paper. Yes, I declared bankruptcy in 2014. It was medical. Everything's been discharged. If you have a yes, again, help us paint that full picture. Excuse me. Habitat requires throughout the partnership process that you participate in a program called IDA. It's a state-sponsored program through the state of Oregon, and IDA stands for Individual Development Accounts. We use this account as a vehicle for you to save money so that when you go to purchase the home, you can help with the cost of the closing costs. So as you save money, the state of Oregon through the IDA program matches your savings. So while you save $1,000, which is your goal, the state will then offer a $3,000 match. So with that $4,000, we're able to uh, alleviate the closing costs and get those taken care of when you finally close on your home. You'll also ask for see us ask for current banking information. Do you currently have a checking or savings account? If yes, where is it? And what is your average balance that you carry? Um, please don't let this intimidate you. We know that there have been individuals that received payments from FEMA or from their insurance that would be balances that we're not used to seeing on these applications. And please know we expect that, and understand that you've lost everything and that it's going to take a significant amount of money to bring you back whole. And if you were selected, when you do purchase your Habitat home, that you'll be needing to use those monies to refill this new home with the things you lost. So please provide that information, be honest and upfront, and know that we expect to see balances higher than what we may typically see. The number 7 is willingness to partner. Are you willing to help us build your home? Are you willing to support the process, to help us share your story, to complete the homeowner education process and get your sweat equity out of the way? So we just ask for you to affirm that there. Also important is that this will be your primary residence. When you close on your home, you'll sign quite a few documents. And one important document is a document that outlines the ability for you to sell your home, and some of the shared equity agreements that go into place. So you can't purchase a home for a very affordable amount and then flip it and walk away with the proceeds. There's some stopgaps in place in order to make sure that this is your long-term permanent home. It's not something you can rent out or use as an income property. So we ask you to certify there that this will be your primary residence. Then we also ask, where did you get this information? Did you attend an orientation? Have you applied with us before? Again, there's no right or wrong answer, just collecting information to be sure we know who's applying and where they received uh, the application or whether they've gotten a chance to attend an orientation. Number 9, I touched on a little bit before, but is there anything special we need to take into mind for accommodations as we begin the construction process? This isn't something that's going to be used against you, or something that's going to cause you to be disqualified based on sharing this information. But what it will do is set us up for an open and honest communication about what we're able to build based on the city or municipal guidelines, so that it's the home that you need for to accommodate any special needs you might have. So it's another opportunity for us to just have a deeper conversation should you move to the partnership interview process, about whether this is the right home for you, or you may need to, we may need to explore other opportunities. So again, that's number 9. This may also be another area where you attach another sheet of paper. This is an area where we're going to ask for references. We ask for support references and we ask for professional references. The top 3 for support groups, who can you count on? Who's in your circle and your sphere that you know will be out there with you, helping you, cheer you on, assisting you completing your sweat equity? Who's in your corner that you know you can rely on throughout the journey? And then the bottom, who can affirm your preparedness for home ownership? Maybe it's a previous landlord. Maybe it's a church elder. Maybe it's an employer. That would be an individual that you would put there. We would only contact these individuals, likely we would get your permission, but even though you've signed a release of information, we would notify you before we reached out and contacted anyone from your application. You'll see next that we have a privacy statement in the notice, just saying that we're committed to keeping your information private. We recognize that there's sensitive information here, that we don't sell it, we don't provide it to anyone else, and we do follow all disclosure and privacy guidelines. So here's where you date and sign the privacy statement. And also, for government reporting and monitoring purposes, this is voluntary, but what this does is allows us to prove that we're being non-discriminatory and we are accepting applications from many different people from all different ethnicities, genders, or walks of life. You can choose to fill this out or not, it's completely up to you. The final page is a signature of authenticity. This is saying, I reviewed the qualification guides. I have a wonderful idea of what's expected of me. I filled everything out to the best of my knowledge. It also says I was truthful, that you understand we do screen every individual for the sex offender registry, and you do release us for submitting yourself and any other household members to a criminal background check in order to make sure that we're not putting any of our homeowners in a community in a dangerous situation. Both the applicant and the co-applicant sign the signature of authenticity. If there's a non-applicant or non-co-applicant over the age of 18, we will likely have them sign a release should you get to that portion in order to verify their information as an adult as well, since they've been disclosed as a member of the household. And the last page is the housing application process. The entire process can take up to 2 to 4 months. We unfortunately don't have that kind of time on our side, so we will be moving this along rather quickly. Step 1 is tonight. Step 1 is attending the orientation, understanding the application, and completing it. Again, they're available printed out at our office, or you can print them from our website, roguevalleyhabitat.org. You'll need to complete the entire application and submit it by the deadline noted with the required documentation. I pointed out throughout our process that there's a couple different places you need to sign. Make sure before you turn it in, you've signed in all of those locations. Also, make sure that you're giving us copies. Again, we have to retain these applications for some years, so it's important you do not provide us the originals. We'll review your application and determine whether you've submitted a complete and accurate application. This review, we will also review that we've received all the required documentation. If you've missed something, or we're asking for additional documentation or clarification, you'll receive a letter from us in the mail. That's why it's important to give us the correct mailing address. That letter will tell you that you have 15 days to provide us updated information or correct something that we might need corrected. Maybe you missed a signature or something. We'll then review the information and documentation and qualify families based on income guidelines. At that time, we'll also pull a copy of your credit report to verify that you fall within our liens, judgments, and collections. We'll also use the information to determine if you're within the debt capacity and you have the ability to make the mortgage payment. Depending on the outcome of step 4, you'll either receive a letter letting you know that we can't approve you for our program at this time, or a letter letting you know that you're moving into the verification phase. For those applicants moving into the verification phase, we will ask you to provide additional documents in order to prove the members of your household. Maybe proof of citizenship, legal residency, current rental or lease agreement, maybe additional information about your residency at the time of the Almeda disaster, maybe honorable discharge documents. Will be very detailed in the letter, and there'll also be a deadline for submission of those documents. After each application is reviewed, you'll then get a letter saying whether you've moved on to the next step or not. You'll see in here a notice about site visits. Our team is still deciding on whether or not site visits will be valuable for this application because each individual applicant was displaced by the Almeda fire. We know there's a need for housing, and it's not based too terribly much off of their current housing situation. I don't have a clear answer on that yet, but we'll be sure to let you know in your letter. Excuse me. Once everything's been completed, you reach the final step. The final step is called the partnership interview. The partnership interview is a chance for Habitat's leadership to meet the prospective family, to ask questions in order to make sure that we're a good fit and to demonstrate your willingness to partner. Make sure that you really are ready for our program and that you're ready to take on home ownership. We'll call you to schedule the appointment should you be chosen. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. So again, I shared with you here that the committee, I'm supported by a family selection committee, and those individuals the families, they are a panel of community volunteers that help us to review applications and conduct partnership evaluations. And those individuals, they do sign a confidentiality agreement. They do keep the information safe and secure. Um, they also make recommendations to our board of directors. Many of the people on this committee have been around for quite a long time, and they're able to really locate or pinpoint families that are ready for the next step and will be successful throughout our housing program. We already talked a little bit about what's next. You will see on the front of the application that the deadline to submit a completed application is May 28th. They will be reviewed and you'll receive your first step letter by June 12th. And again, those letters are decline if you don't meet the requirements of the program, an incomplete if you're missing information, or a step one complete that we've received all your information and you qualify based on income. So from there, we'll help you navigate through the rest of the steps of the process. And then partnership interviews will likely occur in late June, which is the final step before we make recommendations to our board of directors. Again, I want to finish with sharing with you that when in doubt, please apply. It's an involved application process, but it's not too terribly much work. I would hate for you to disqualify yourself on misinformation. So please do make the effort to apply. We do our hardest to get people qualified and accept them into our program. Also, reach out if you have questions for specific information that might apply to your own private situation. My contact information is on our website as well as on the application. We did record this so we will post this video on our website for individuals that weren't able to make it with us. And I'm going to stop interpretation so Yvonne can join us, and then we'll do some consecutive translating to answer questions in the chat. So while I'm doing this, if you do have questions, now would be a great time to add them into the chat box. Welcome back, Yvonne.
Bienvenida de regreso, Yvonne. Aquí estoy. I'm here.
I do have a question here that says,
Tengo una pregunta aquí.
Is this opportunity only for families affected by the Almeda fire?
Que si esta oportunidad es solamente para las personas afectadas por el incendio de Almeda.
Yes, it is. This opportunity
así es.
Is just for families impacted and displaced by the Almeda fire.
Esta oportunidad es solamente para las personas que quedaron afectadas del incendio.
The next question I have is, what if you are a family of two? What are the minimum and maximum incomes?
¿Y qué tal si es una familia de dos? ¿Y cuáles son el mínimo y el máximo de ingresos?
you will see when you go to print the application from our
Ustedes van
website,
a ver que cuando impriman la solicitud,
the qualification guide in both English and Spanish
hay una guía para calificar en inglés y en español.
it will show you a more drilled down version and the two households that aren't listed on the application, a 2-person and a 1-person.
Donde está desglosado más específicamente una familia de 1 y 2 personas.
And now I will get my chat box back. There's a question here. Do you need to include COVID stimulus payments in box 7?
En la caja número 7 de la solicitud, si necesita uno incluir el estímulo que uno recibió, el cheque de estímulo que se recibió de COVID.
The answer is no. COVID was a one-time payment and we do not include that in future income.
La respuesta a esa pregunta es que no se incluye ese pago que fue único en ese como ingreso.
Another question. This application starts with a household of 3. Are less than 3 considered for this build?
La siguiente pregunta es si se va a considerar a familias de menos de 3 para estas construcciones de casas.
The answer is our goal is to house as many people as possible. And we will use family size as a final determinant, but it will not disqualify someone from the program.
Ciertamente tenemos como finalidad volver a proveerle vivienda a la mayor cantidad de personas posibles, así que consideraremos el número de personas que haya en una familia.
Another question. Can we advocate for Phoenix or talent?
La otra pregunta es si podemos pedir Phoenix o Talent.
The answer is yes. That would be a discussion if we make it to the partnership interview, where we would discuss your community of choice and the reason why you would advocate for one of the towns.
La respuesta es sí. Esa sería una conversación que tendríamos con ustedes una vez que lleguen a la parte final, que hayan quedado aceptados y tengamos una entrevista donde ustedes podrán explicar cuál es su comunidad predilecta.
Also, a question about getting to input for design, color, and materials.
También tenemos una pregunta respecto a si vamos a tomar en cuenta la opinión de las familias respecto al diseño, color.
There are a few opportunities for homeowner input, less about design and more about finishes like color or lighting, things of that nature.
La respuesta es que sí va a haber algunas pocas oportunidades donde los futuros dueños de la casa van a poder dar su opinión más respecto a terminados, más que diseño. Es decir, van a poder dar su opinión respecto a color o luz.
I also want to clarify on the application.
También quiero aclarar que en la solicitud
When we ask for other household members, these are individuals that will be living with you in your new Habitat house should you be accepted into the program.
En esta sección le estamos pidiendo que ustedes listen a las personas que, en resumidas cuentas, van a estar viviendo en el hogar.
We understand right now many people are sharing or co-housing. And if you don't intend for these people, or if these people will not be part of your new household or your normal household, you do not have to include them.
Esto es porque entendemos que muchas personas han estado cohabitando o compartiendo vivienda y si no es la intención que esas personas a largo plazo vivan con usted, por favor no las agreguen.
And one last question.
Una última pregunta.
What is the percentage the new homeowner will pay of the new home?
¿Cuál va a ser el porcentaje que el nuevo dueño de la casa va a pagar por la nueva casa?
The percentage will be a monthly payment of 30% of their gross monthly income.
El porcentaje va a ser basado en en lo que sea el 30% del ingreso bruto mensual que tengan los solicitantes, él o los solicitantes.
And do we see any other questions? Please put them in the chat.
A ver si hay otras preguntas y si no, pónganlas en el chat.
I don't see any. So again, thank you everyone for joining us this evening.
No veo otras preguntas. De nuevo, gracias a todos por unirse.
If you have specific or individual questions, please reach out to me via email or phone number.
Si tienen algunas otras preguntas de orden más privado, y como se los dije antes, comuníquense conmigo, ya sea por teléfono o por email.
If you know someone in a situation that you think may qualify for the program, please direct them to our website to get an application or to view this recording.
Si conocen a alguien que sería buen candidato para este programa, por favor envíenlos a que visiten nuestro sitio web para que vean la información y la solicitud.
And the application is now live and available on our website if you want to get started tonight. And again, thank you all for joining us.
Y la solicitud ya está en vivo y funcionando en el sitio web, así que pueden comenzar a llenarla desde hoy en la noche.